Okay, so we're gonna assemble a computer today. I had said that we were gonna do this. This is my desktop that has not been working, and I have gutted it with my son who's controlling the camera. Right, and so we're going to do that. But first, let's start off with some of the things that we need to go ahead and make this work. For one, you need a motherboard. This is a required part of a computer. This is the part that controls everything. Next, you're going to need some hard drives. This one I don't necessarily know that we'll be using, but these ones we will. Hard drives come in a couple flavors. This is a solid state hard drive. This is about a 960 gigabyte hard drive. Then we have this one here, which is a hybrid, which means that it's got a solid state and a non-solid state inside of it. The solid state acts as like a buffer for transferring memory quickly, or values quickly. And then we have a regular plain old one right here, and this is like a regular normal hard drive. You'll notice that the regular hard drives cost less than the hybrids or the solid states. Still, they're all pretty cheap. And you also are going to need memory. This is Vengeance memory by Corsair. It's good for gaming. But you're going to need to have memory. Memory, everything that you're running loads into memory, a lot of it. When you don't have enough memory, it goes to scratch disk, which is using your hard drive as memory. Much, much slower. You'll also need a video card. This is the 1080, the GeForce 1080. It's a monster of a video card, and it's got some gooey stuff on it, which I've now figured out what that is. That is the wonderful gunk that was on the processor. It took forever to clean. So, here we have a video card. This is a monster. You've got to remember, the video cards today are gigantic. They're very big compared to the little video cards of yesterday. So, very important there, the video card. After that, you have to make sure you have your processor. It's a little bitty thing. This is an i7 processor. And your cooling. For me, I have a Corsair water cooling system already in the case. It just locks up right in there. I also have on the front here a CD-ROM drive right there that is in there from before that I put in there. So this is loaded in roughly the same way as any other would be. I do need to disconnect this though, so we're going to pop that right off because cable-wise. Oh, also another thing you need is power supply. This is an 850 watt one, so it's pretty powerful. And then you have a bunch of cables, as you see. These cables that look like this are called Scuzzy Cables. These are important. The old computers used a ribbon cable. They don't do that anymore. They now are mostly just Scuzzies and the like. Your power cable, this is your main power cable here. This is your power cable. If anything connects to this, it's for power. This is a power cable that goes to your drives. This one here can run 4 drives, but as you see I have fans and such going to that one. Trying to find the rest of these Scuzzy cables. Put this around. This is the case. Yes, let's see here. I have that going through there, I have that going through there, I have a whole bunch of cables coming down from there. So, what we do is we need to keep track of all of these little wires and cords, and it may seem like a whole lot of work, but it's really not that difficult. As soon as we find everything, we ought to be able to flow right through it all and figure it all out. There we are. I knew that was there somewhere. So we need to keep those separate so we can find them in the future and make sure we've got everything we need. And sometimes those cables can get into little wonky places like this one is. This will be a little difficult for you. Just going to feed them around through and in. And I've got 4. got more than 4, but right now I've got 4. I'll probably end up needing one more. So it's always good to buy as many as you might need prior to beginning, because once you begin, you have to go all the way back to the beginning and get it again and then start over, and that's not fun. So let's go ahead and let's set this down on its back, because we need to install a motherboard. Okay, another big important part to any computer is this. The first thing you want to do is when you open up your motherboard, you want to pull this little puppy out right here. This is the back part of your case. You can't put the motherboard in without this part here. This sits down here, right here, where all your ports are. And you have to pop this out in, and it's usually easy to do, but sometimes it can be kind of painful. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to compare these two, and I can look here and I can see that they're not the same. This has so many more things right here. We have this right here. We have these. We do have these jacks here, these, and those. So we have to use this one. So I'm going to take this one and set it aside. Pop open this one here. Pull it on out. It's got a nice cushy backing right here, required, so you don't break anything. And then we take it, and you see it's got a little lip right along this edge, and we have to push it into that without cutting ourselves. Generally, you put it in sideways, and then you just kind of come over to the edge and give it a gentle but firm kind of push. And it should pop in. You should hear it go pop like you just did, and you've got it in. And that's all that's involved with it. Other than the fact that you want to make sure you didn't put it upside down. The word should be facing up towards you. Now, once we have that done, we need to clear out some space in here, so let's move some stuff out of the way. We've got stuff everywhere. We want to just kind of move things out of the way, not strain, stress, cut, break, or tear any wires in the process of doing this. But we do need them all out of the way. Alright, all out of the way, even these little ones. So we need to have this area open and free, because this is where the motherboard goes. So we're going to come over, because this is the first step to any one. That is putting your motherboard inside of the box. Put it in the box! So here we go. As you can see, this is a very well-made motherboard. This is made with lots of metal parts. It doesn't have cheap plastic junk. Okay, that a lot of motherboards will have. You can tell it's got caps on things. Apparently not going to cap off, but this is a very well put together motherboard. Even has like an emergency power switch right on the board. Go figure. This is a motherboard that it's worth it. So having a good, we have apparently had music playing, but so this is the motherboard. This is good equipment, not cheap stuff. The stuff that you buy in a name brand computer is usually the cheapest they can possibly find, because they want to keep the price low, so you'll buy it. So you get really, really, really cheap stuff. When you get it in components like this yourself, you're getting high quality stuff, because it's required that they actually have a good enough product for you to want to buy it. Now, one thing we can tell here is we've got this funny little design going. Well, this funny little design here on the motherboard actually is so that we can put in the processor, and it matches if you've got an i7. But any processor will have its own sort of thing. If you've got an i7, it'll match this, you see. It matches that. Except that this doesn't go on top. It goes on the bottom. Like so. Well, let's try to get it right. You'll know when you get it right because it actually fits on there nice and snugly. Let's see. This will be incorrect because it doesn't fit that way, so I had it right the first time. In we go. There we are. So maybe easier just to turn it over and do it. There. There we go. And there we are. This sits on the bottom there. I'm going to put our hand on it to hold it in place. Come around to the other side. Now you've got these fun little screws that just go right in here. I'll put my finger on the other side there. One of these sides connects into those screws. One doesn't. You'll know which one does because that's the screw that will fit. You just need to tighten those down, just to hand tighten. They are for, these add angled catty corners. They are, they hold the processor down. Or actually in this case they're going to hold our water cooling system down, not the processor itself, but our water cooler. The processor is held by this right here. Something has to hold that big, huge hosed water cooler. It's not really water, it's something. But, it has to hold it nice and tightly. Looks like we've got some slide going on. There we go. Come on back in. Come on back. Alright, nope. Yeah, alright, there we go. This thing really likes my shirt. It's prickly, it's pointy, motherboards are sharp. I generally cut myself on them, so let's hope that I don't this time. Alright, so now we have that in. It's a little stringy, that's okay, because it's going to be pulled pretty darn tight when it puts on there. So, there's nothing else that we need to connect to this board at this point in time. We just need to put it in here, line it on up, make sure all those cords that just want to come and fall in on everything are out of the way when we try to put this in. Oh. Watch things kind of slip a little. I'm slipping off the board there. Alright. Now, you have to apply pressure when you do this. So what we want to do is make sure we get everything lined up. Well, there's one thing we do need to take off. This little cap is getting in the way. Let's pop that cap off. Probably this one right here too. There we go. Much better. Now, you'll see right here we have a hole. We're going to make sure that hole lines up. Then we're going to get a screw. Right here. And we're just going to get it ready to go into that hole. Then I get it pushed over like that. And then we'll just kind of screw it on in there. Once you have one screw in and tighten down, it will stay in place. Now you can easily screw in all the rest of the screws that go in. The screws that go in are the smaller screws. They generally will come with the case, not the motherboard. Motherboard will come with some Scuzzy cables. If you're going to be hooking in more drives than what it comes with, you might want to invest in some. They're relatively cheap. We're going to look through here and see if we find any more. We've got one right here. I think, yeah. I'm going to screw in every one. And then, let's see where else do we have some screws. Oh, there's one right here. Not every one of these holes has to be filled in. Just the ones that have a corresponding connector on the other side. Some of these do not. There's some places you wish did. They might not, but go with what we got. What they give us. Do not put these in too hard. You do not want to break your board. You just want them to go in enough so they're snug. Snug as a bug in a rug. Yeah, I'm one of those goofy people that just made up some stupid saying to put on YouTube. Snug as a bug in a rug? Yeah, whatever. work. Okay, moving on. Let's see here. Oh, darn. Oh, it's still connected to the end. I'm like, I lost it. No, it's still connected to the end. Some of these can be a little difficult to get into. Like this one. It's way over here. Darn. Could not be any more difficult to get to. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I can't see anything. I got it there. Alright, light time. And I realized that the person with the best view right now is probably you. Until I just did that. I took the view all the way. Oh, oh, oh. There we go. I got it in. It just took bending over backwards to do so. And I got one more screw, it looks like, and it also looks like I have one more. So in this case, it looks like I'm going to get to fill in all the holes. That's excellent. The more support you have on the board, the better. Each one of those has a ground to it. That's what these little thingies are here on the sides. They're very nice to have everything all where you want to have it. But let's go ahead and close that off. Heat sinks. Apparently things like those get very warm. Now we've got this part to here. We can install the memory next. The memory isn't that big of a deal. What we have to be careful of, well, you know what? We're not going to install memory next. We're going to go ahead and do this properly. I'm going to grab this little manual book here because we need to find out where all the ports go on this. So, every motherboard is different. There is no set one. What you're going to want to do is look, well, we can do that. We can put the CPU in. It always does make me a little nervous to have it just floating around out there. This little piece of plastic you take off. You do not leave this little piece of plastic on, because the processor will generally sometimes fit underneath them. You don't want to do that. You do not want to do that. Alright, now on your processor, there's a point on the back that has a little bitty dot in the corner, whereas none of the other corners have that little bitty dot. When you look in here, you're going to find that, one, it probably won't go in any other way but the right way. Just like this. But you can also look for the dot. However, that's how it fits in snugly. There's two little divots right here and right here, which make sure you put it in correctly. This little thing flips over. There's that screw there. It slides right under. Make sure cords are out of the way. You bring this down and you pull it to the back a little and slide it right underneath this pole right here. That holds it firmly, tightly in place, which is exactly where we want it to be. Now, let's find us the proper... Seriously. These are the worst instructions ever. I've got exactly 2 pages of instructions. Install the cables. That was what it says. Sometimes these things are pretty lame, and this is all you're going to get. So, sure. Sure. Why not? Wow. Okay. So we're going to install the CPU cooler, I guess, next. Fans for it. We're going to look for C1 and C2 on this board. Usually they have some sort of like picture showing where all this stuff is. This one, apparently that's asking way too much to have a picture saying Okay, this is what's in our motherboard. Oh, here we go. Thank goodness. What's this? No. We have a block diagram. Yeah, that's not gonna help. This will help me. Okay. This is much better. This installation guidebook, pretty much just throw it away. It's useless. Alright. There's only one part in there that's any good, and whatever. So, let's look at this here. And let's see. Let's see if we can find C1. BIOS switch, CMOS. This is an ATX for power. If we look at the board, we're pretty much angled the right way here. So, right here we have an ATX power section right there. We have the CPU fan and CPU optional. That is right there. That's our CPU fan and CPU optional. I don't know what a CPU opt is. Probably if you have a secondary fan to it, or something along those lines. We may actually end up using a CPU opt. Probably be this one right here, actually. Let's see, what else do we have connected to it? And we have two. This one here, though, connects into that there. Let's see if we can untangle this a little bit. It's a little tangled up. Apparently, I like tangling cords. These are to that, which comes down to this. My goodness, I still have things tangled. And this connects down in here, right there. Right there. This. And then it comes in here for our CPU fan. Right there. This will need to go to power eventually. Interesting that these are like they are. But they are what they are. These are going to our big fans up here. So this is essentially ready to be dropped on. We have to remember that we have this extra one here, although we don't have a place for it with cables. As you see, there's no anything for that. We have this hooked into this so that it knows it needs to be pumping and doing its thing. But I don't see anything. I don't see anything to help us. So, next, you're going to need to make sure you have some of this. This is called Quicksilver Heatsink. Quicksilver Heatsink is important because it's the stuff that makes it so that you don't have, that it transfers the heat between the processor and the cooling, whatever it be a fan or a water cooler, properly. I'm currently covered in this stuff. We want to make sure we put a thin layer. We do not need much. Put it on there and just move it around a little. You do not want this covered to the point where it's dripping and gooing everywhere. We just want it on there enough to coat it, a thin layer all over your processor. Thin, because it's going to get pushed, like squished. They come in very little bottles here because you don't need a whole lot. See, I put a thin layer on here already, and that's pretty much all I'm going to need right there. I'm not pushing on the thing anymore, I'm just sort of squishing it around. There we go. cap back on because see, I even got some left over. How excellent is that? That is going to be squished heavily, tightly with this. This is our cooler. Make sure all surfaces are clean. If the surface is not clean, you need to use rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip or a paper towel or something along those lines to go ahead and clean it. But all surfaces must be completely clean. That is highly important. That all surfaces are clean. What we have here now is a need for some washers. Come on, you little monster. So let's get, since it wants to go this direction, we're going to put this one on first. Just like that. Just get it on down. Yeah. Alright, now we grab another one of these. All of these will sit right here next to me. Little washers and these little scuba jiggers. Now we're going to bring it on in again. Again, since this side wants to seem to be the one that doesn't. Let's see. Just do that to catch. Caught. Excellent. We'll just screw it down. Another one of these, and we'll do the same right here. This is the water cooling system. That'll cool your computer much better than just a regular fan. Although they cost much more than a regular fan. They always do. Everything that's awesome costs a lot of money, it seems. That's why it's great to be creative. Although I wouldn't suggest being creative with your own water system inside of an electrical computer, which could go and waste a whole lot more money. It's best to, when you're playing with electronics, to be careful. Water, electronics tend to not go together. That's why they put warning labels on toasters. In case you have that sudden urge for some toast in the shower or a bath, it's best to not plug it in and set the toaster on your lap. It could be the last thing you ever do, as you get completely electrified until the circuit breaker pops, which could be fast, just a shock to kill yourself. So don't do that. Alright, so this is nice and firmly down, but these we want firm. We don't want to break anything, but we want them nice and firm. This is moving an awful lot. Well, it's on springy, so I guess it's supposed to. Now that we have that, the processor is installed. Yay! Let's go back and look at our wonderful thing here. Alright. We have jumpers here, but it doesn't tell us what they are. That's very useful. Oh, they're not filled in, that's why. I can put my finger right over them. This is the soundboard and the BIOS switch. The CMOS switch is right there, and the restart or reset. It's like the factory reset for the BIOS. We have an Atheros LAN, which is located where the battery is. We have these, and then we have this LAN thing somewhere right around here, right there probably. Yeah, useless. Moving along. The codec, which is right here. With the F audio, right there. There's the audio. Okay. There's for the system fan too. COM A. So COM A. I think this one is the TPM. This one is... I don't know which one this is. This is my... this is definitely USB headers, but... Interesting. There's a system fan right here, and a system fan right there. We need to know where all of our system fans are because we have system fans in this. But we need to know where they go. We have this one right here, if you recall, which I've got plugged in somewhere, but then we have, let's see those, we have these ones on the front. Come around here somewhere. At least I thought they did. Where can my system fans be? Let's see, what do we got here? Let's lift this up so I can see a little bit better as to what we have going on here. Okay, those are just connected into there. A lot of connectivity going on back here on the back. Power linked into that. Excellent. Alright, so not really that useful for me. No. There we go. I just stuck it in there. Why not? Since this should have a plug, but I don't see it. Looks like they're just always ons. Sometimes they are always ons, although we certainly have enough cords over here for them to be not always ons. But these cords may be coming from somewhere else. Choose somewhere else. Like this incredible mess of cables. Some go to the back, and I can't help that. Some do not. I need to know what does not and what does. Now you would think, does this stuff have names? Some of it does. Some of it's nice enough to be named for us, and some of it's really not. Now sometimes you'll find your cases have things that your motherboard can't handle. Hopefully in this case we won't. This is a USB header here. It says USB, which is good because that's exactly what I want it to be. I want it to be a USB header. Boom. Okay, what does this say? This says HD audio. And this is AC97. Well, we have audio. This says reset switch. This one here says power LED minus and positive. Power switch. Yay for power switches. See if we can untangle some of this here. Okay, yay for power switches. Right. Alright, that's what we're talking about. Yay for power switches. Alright, what does this one here say? This one here says stop now, you nutcase. No, it says hard drive. That's what it says. It says hard drive. Hard drive. Now, alright, so I'm going to have a leftover USB port here. Darn, that's awesome, and I really could have used to have more USBs on this computer, but I guess I really don't. I only have the sums up front here. So, okay. Well, this is this audio. It's kind of wrap it underneath things. It's a little bit of a tight fit, so we're just going to bring it right on over here and say, go into the hole, go into the hole. And it's going to say, no! Because I'm trying to put it in backwards. That's generally a good indicator that you're doing it wrong. And it says, no! I don't know what this AC97 is. But it sounds cool. I've never heard of an AC97. Alright, what other, does this give us any better? Hopefully it gives us something a little bit better for our block. Hooking that up. Like like the pins. It does. Onboard switches and LEDs. Yes, BIOS, yeah, yeah, okay, pin 1. Yeah. Those aren't pins, dude. Oh. Huh. Those are pins you have to solder yourself if you're really into soldering yourself. To measure voltage points. Gotcha. Voltage measurement points. That's for some serious troubleshooting. Oh my gosh, look at this. That's exactly what we need. This is exactly what I was hoping to find. This is a wonderful breakdown of every single one of those little thingies on the board. Almost every single motherboard comes with it. I was a bit worried this one might not. It's got a pin readout for what each of these does. Now that's not really that important for us. Let's see here. I don't see anything that tells me hook this to it. The pins all fit in a certain way. You see they have little blocked holes in there. The blocked hole is so you can't put something in the wrong spot. That's the purpose of that. Now, let's see here. Where do we think we have system fan, CPU fan, and system fan? That's very nice. Those are located all over the place, actually. Look, there's a system fan right there, so that's much closer. We're going to stick this one over here in this one. Right there, because it's much closer to that one. I really wish I could use these two fans, 2 and 3, but they don't seem to appear to have a normal connection. They've got some funky, crazy power connection only, and that's fine. Water cooling fan header, yes. Boom, right there. We got that SATA Express connector that is right here. Yes. The SATA 6 gigabit. That's the D97 chipset, this one. And this one is also controlled by the D97 chipset. Although this one here is controlled by the Marvel chipset, 6 gigabits per second. So this is actually controlled by 3 different chipsets. How very interesting. That's how things, what controls the data, the flow, the movement, the speed of your data flowing around inside your motherboard. It actually has a place for a motherboard, for right here, for a solid state drive. If you wanted to connect that, I do not. F panel. That is USB F panel. Yes. I think that's this though. It's 2, 4. It's a whole lot of things. No, this is solid state. No, that's actually, this is where we're going to put our stuff for our hard drives and everything else. There's another fan. This is what's concerning me. This is my blues, my 3.0 USBs, and I still have no place I can plug them in at. Because they come with this gigantic blue thing here, and as crazy as this sounds, I don't see how I can hook that in anywhere. I don't think it would fit in there. It doesn't fit in there. Oh, here we are. USB 3.0. There it is. It's just hiding. That's all. they hide. There we go. Bingo! Yay! Yawn? You sleep till noon. How can you yawn? Alright. Let's see here. What do we have here? We have the power switch. Power switch. If we look here, we see that the power LED. Let's put this in the power LED and hope it works. No. Now, we can look clearly at this beautiful thing here and say, it's two black wires. Which one's power? However, you'll notice they put these little white dots. The little white dots are saying that's the hot line or the power line. So when we look at this chart, we see that the power hot line is this one right over here on this side. So we want to make sure that these little white dots here would come into that, which will put it in this direction. Boom. Now, looking at the next one, same thing. This is the reset switch. Power LED, power switch, speaker. Reset switch is right across from it with the plus sign on this side of me, on the side I'm standing at. So again, we're going to want this one to go in sort of like you need to have eyes on the tips of your fingers is what it's sort of like. Alrighty. There we go. Perfect. What's the next one? The next one says HHD LED, which is a hard drive LED. It's saying that the positive switch is this one right here on this side. So we actually want to put this one in like this. So we reach down in there and we tack it in. Next up, we have these two little puppies right here, which are the power LEDs, plus and minus, and they are separated, and they do actually say plus and minus. So the plus side is right there, and the minus side is right there. So we're actually going to somehow get our fingers around in here and put them in just like that. Alright, let's look for any more stray cables sitting around here. I mean, this thing's got some for speaker, which is right here. Speaker. The PC speaker is not speakers like you have in your anywhere. This speaker is the one that goes beep when you have a problem, or when you turn on your computer. That's all it does. We have a power LED. We have more than one power. A chassis intrusion header. I don't have a chassis intrusion header, and I would not want one. They turn off your computer when you open the box. But I'm a little too fancy for that stuff. And then my son laughs at me. He's like, yeah, sure, right down here. I was still curious as to what this AC97 is. Trusted platform module header. I don't have one. Serial port header. Nope, I don't have a serial port header. That'd be COM A. USB 1 and 2 headers. Yes. USB 3 headers. Okay, right there. Yeah, we found that. Clear CMOS battery. Right. Let's look at the other board that I took out for a second. This one had 6. But I don't think I must have that connected in this one either, because I don't see anything for it. You'll notice they look very similar, and that's because they're generally the same motherboard. They're both a 97, Z97 gaming motherboard. But anyway, whatever. Let's take a peek here. Let's do a quick look down here. We have our cool stuff. You can tell this is a gigabyte because it says gigabyte everywhere. Alright, now that we've got every wire that I can see that's been hanging around saying, hey, you want to play with me? Connected. Let's go ahead and let's hook up some of these ones that are just stray and running around and just feeling lonely. Like this one right here. This one is feeling kind of lonely. This one connects to one of... What the hell is that? It looks kind of important. Must have hooked it up to something. It's not from my video card. And if it connects to the power, I have to assume that this is not something I probably want to plug in anything important. Unless this connects to something else. I don't know what this would connect to. Maybe I should have paid attention when I pulled that up. Whoa. Huh. I'm going to set it aside until I figure out what it is I need it for. Alright, this is for my video card. You'll notice they look kind of like that. PCIe. Video cards require enormous amounts of juice. This is what I connect with my... Let's see, this. Let's go ahead and let's run this over. This is going to connect right here. This big, long, fat thing always connects in the big, long, fat thing place, which is really easy to find because there's only one place for it. Feel for this. There's a little lip there. There's a clip there. Lip to clip. Sometimes there can be a little difficult to get on. Other times they're pretty easy. This one, as we saw before, goes all the way over here and hides in the back. Click, lip to click, lip to clip. Good thing to remember when working with computers. Of any shape and size, lip to clip. That is how all these connector thingies work, by taking the lip to the clip. Now, this is important. This is a power thing, so let's look at this jumbled mess of cords and cables and figure out what we want to do here. Okay, I have 4 power connectors here. Let's go ahead and put some hard drives in, so we can start figuring that out. Oh, Wally just got done printing something. Yes, printed a 2.5-inch adapter for the sun. Okay. Hard drives. I'm going to put it at the very top, my solid state. Is there a reason? Nope. It's just easier to keep track of. Click. Next, I'm going to put the one that I know has data on it, is where I back stuff up. After that, I'm going to put the other hybrid. And then I'm going to put this guy right here, which is not a hybrid. And then this one, I wasn't going to put back in, but I think I can be convinced to do so. There we go, hard drives. This is a total of 1, 3, 5, 9, 10.5. 10.5 terabytes or terabytes of data. That's quite a bit of data. You think, will I have enough? And the answer is a brief puppy interruption. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my gosh, look at you. What are you doing? Oh, roll over. Okay. A brief puppy interruption. It was required. Okay. Now, let's get back to the computer. We're done with the brief puppy interruption. So, let's turn this guy around. And just, there we are. Now we've got all our drives in. We're going to need to have Scuzzy Cables, which plethora of shapes and sizes of. Use these because they're all the same. I don't need this many. But I like the fact that they're all color coordinated. They're pretty. Okay, now, they're always twisted. Let's connect some Scuzzies. They're a little scuzzy. Alright, we're going to start at the bottom and we're going to work our way up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drives. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 powers. That could be a problem if you want to connect everything. So, we have to connect this still, which connects to a funky adapter, which is on the other side. Let's go back over on the other side, and let's find our funky adapter. So this is not this one, it would be this one. We're going to kind of feed it through here, because I'm going to need one of these powers. Oh look, I just fed it through a cable. Try not to do that. Alright, let's pull it kind of tight. Thankfully we only need one. I'm actually hooking this first because I can't see. Alright. And we look here, and we look, we see that it's got a little niche down. We look there and we see it's got a little niche down. That tells you where it goes. It goes there. But let's see if we can do this. Well, we're good. We're just going to remember that this end hooks to this. Again, it's got a niche. Just got to get in there nice and tight. Okay. And let's try to slide that on in there. Curiosity says, what does my CD-ROM drive connect with? That same thing. It connects with the same thing. So we're going to want to have this come out here. I'm going to have to connect that CD-ROM drive first. Power to that first. So fall over. Righto. Ah, crud. What have I got going on here? Did I lose something? Well, aside from connecting the one I didn't want to connect. No. Cable management is highly important, and that's why I'm failing at it completely. Let's put this through on the top, not the bottom. Since this one is going to have to connect to our top drive, as well as our other things. Oops, put that on the floor. That was perfectly okay. Power in again. There we go. Now we're cooking with something. What are we cooking with? I don't know. Something. Of course. Let's make this more difficult than it is now. We're going to have to take this, because it's so easy to do, we're going to have to feed it into the drive bays, which is going to be, it's going to be, It's going to be like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do it. No, you can't make me. And the answer is yes, I can make you. Well, the question is, how far does that go? Is that going to be far enough over for us to connect it while still connecting this? Or do I really need that to come a little more? See, these questions burn. I've got room here. I just don't have room where I need it. Alright, let's see if I can figure out a way to do this. That didn't help any. Alright. I gotta hook this drive up. And still hook in everything else. Now, there's an easy way I can do this, and there's a hard way, and I'd rather go with the hard way than the easy way, because that's just the way I like to roll. But, the easy way would be to just take this drive and put it in here, and then I can just go put and be done. And that may be the way to go. But that means I'd have to actually screw things in. And that kind of sucks. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do. So I will have to actually screw this in here. Well, no, I won't, because that's a 5 1/4, not a 3 1/2. And that ain't gonna fit in there. That narrowed it down for me. I have to go the hard way. Well, isn't building computers fun? Actually, it's not that hard. It's just some cable management. Of course, since I'm recording it, that's going to make sure I make some cable problem management. Okay. I just need one of these connectors to go to the CD-ROM drive and one of these connectors to go to the other. If need be, I can move it down. I would very much like if it would just behave for me and go all the way over. Alright, down to down. Let's put this on. Ugh. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Alright. Okay. There we go. Got it. Push it in nice and tight. Alright, let's take this up, wrap it around through here. Leaves us one little connector right there. Fine with that. Okay, I push this through. Yep. And then this can come right here. Like that. And then this. The one we disconnected earlier, right here. Come on. And be powered. That's our water cooling. We definitely want that powered. This one had that funky connector in it, but I don't know necessarily where it goes. I don't see anywhere that says I need to connect a secondary power board. So I'm thinking I'm okay. Now this one's free and clear, so we're probably a little bit better off at this point. So let's go ahead and let's just daisy chain these right down the line. One, actually, daisy chain would start from the bottom, so let's bring it out and bring it in the bottom. Right in the bottom, right there. There we go. There's 4 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 there. Alright, got some cables here that are behaving nicely. What is this? Side top. those go somewhere? Those front. Those are going somewhere there. I don't know. They seem like they would. There's no side fan, and there is no top fan. The top fan is our water cooler, so I'm thinking no. I definitely don't want to hook power connector to our water fan to turn it off. I want it to stay on. If it needs to be on, it needs to be on, and I let the software inside of the hardware inside of it determine whether or not it's on or off. So let's just daisy chain all of these up, all the way up, till we get to the top, which is right here. There we go. Now, as noted before, we want to have our I want to have this one be my primary. It's my solid state drive. Where is that light? Ah, yes. There we can see. Yes. Again, with the little notch and notch. Clicked in. Good. Alright, let's take this. This one I'm pretty sure I can just feed right through there. Alright, I want to take this one and I want to make it number 1. Make sure I make it number 1. The order of the drives is kind of important because that's how they're going to show up. Your first drive is usually and always your C drive. C drive, as you might know, is where all of everything goes, your operating system wise. If you don't have your C drive, well, let's say life gets a little harder. Okay, so we know that those go down here. What we don't know is which one's which. That's why we come over to the actual manual, which was much nicer in telling us what these things were. This one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million. Okay, this is your memory. Huh. It's telling us about our video cards. Back panel connectors. One, 7. So there's 1 and there's 7. SATA Express and SATA 3, 4, 5 connectors only one at a time. SATA 4, 5 connectors unavailable when M2 SSD is installed. I don't think I'm connecting the M2 SSD. Yeah, I'm not connecting that, so we're good. SATA 4, 5 connectors. I'll use one at a time. Right. Oh. That one. Yeah. 4, 5 won't be active if you use that one. That's this one right here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it doesn't tell us which one's the first. Set of 1. Oh, set of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to do this one here at the bottom to this one. Those two are going to be these two drives. And then this one and this one will be these two, and 4 will be that one there. There we go. Tells us what we wanted to know. So, it looks like the ones far on this side are the ones we want to put them in. Let's see if we can angle our hands into impossible ways to get that to go up the hole. With some light. Let's see here. Yes, I got that in the right angle. Just my hands are not impossibly angled to do this. There we go. Click. Click. Click, buddy, click. Now, lift it up. Go to the back. And grab another receipt. So fall. Okay. And we want this one to be drive 2. Boop. We're going to run it in this back area here. Actually, let's grab all the rest of these. Let's put some on the floor though, because the floor needs a SATA drive, SATA connector strings too. I'm just not going to. I'm just connect them. I'm not going to. There we go. I'm not going to run those through yet until I come over here and get this. There we go. Look at all that light shining down on us. So, we know this one we want to go right above the other one. Click. Now it's 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I know I need one more SATA connector. I'm not going to use one of these. I'll choose something over 35. These ones are really pretty. They're white. They're pretty white. I'll plug this one into the last one. 5. Somehow. Nope. And I'm going to bring it up here and into the CD-ROM drive. So we know that's the last one. Might as well just connect it right now. No need to prolong it. Now, I'm going to drop the light on the floor, which my son tried to grab, but was unsuccessful. It failed. Alright, let's do this through here. Here we are. Okay. Just set that right there. Move the light around. There we go. This is 2. That's 2. This one here would be, that one here would be 3. Play smarter, not harder. And this would be 4. 4 is on the bottom, so we're going to do the bottom ones before we do the top ones. Work from the bottom to the top. Always work from the bottom to the top. Like that. Of course, I don't know which ones these are, but this one's 3. Okay. And there it is. Oh, it's blank. Alright. Okay. All of our drives are connected in. All of our drives are done. Wow, huh? That's amazing. That's great. That's fantastic. This job is almost complete. It's almost completed. Except for two big parts. That is. Three maybe. Because what the heck is this thing? I have no idea what this even goes to. I don't think it doesn't plug into that. I don't know. Does it plug into this? No. I have no idea what this plugs into. It's just here. But I'm clueless as to what it's for. Let's look at this board here. Now, let's see, where would I plug this in at? System fan. CPU fan. Audio power. Bingo. I don't need that. I don't need an audio power. There is no audio power in that same spot here. We're good. This board is a little superior, I think. Okay, let's push these little clips down. Now, they can only go in one direction, which makes them pretty easy. You put them in the right way, they click in. You put them in the wrong way, they don't. So, that would be the wrong way. You see? There's a little lip, and there's that hole. So I had them backwards. I was just doing that to show everybody. That's what it was. Yeah. That's exactly what that was. Yeah. Not me putting it in backwards because I didn't look. Not at all. Alright. The memory will click in, go click, and you know you got it. I only have 2 cards. I know I've got more cards somewhere, but for the life of me, I don't know where they are, so it'd be nice to have them, but I can get some later. Not the end of the world. Okay, so now let's do the piece de resistance. The gigantic monster gargantuan friggin' video card that we're gonna have to somehow get in here. These things don't fit all that easy. But once you got it in, it clicks. A solid hard to tell you got it in. Good job. And I say, thank you, computer. And it doesn't say a thing back, because if it did, I might freak out a little. If my computer started talking to me in this state, if it was plugged in, wouldn't freak me out. But if it all unplugged like this, if it started saying, hello, Brian, what are you doing? I'd be like, oh boy.
Time for a new video card.
Time for a new something. New pair of pants. Alright, now that's plugged in. We got to put the power in. Remember, we kept those over here. You got the right kind of ATX card. If you get any advanced video card, you're going to want to have one with 8 or with these connectors. Preferably one where it's got like the 2 PCIEs, because all of your advanced and high-powered video cards require that, because they're just memory power hogs. They're power hogs. They just suck the power up, and so you've got to make sure you have a power supply that can handle it. That's going to be your larger power supplies that can. Not the cheapo, hey, I get a deal for $50 on this power supply. It's not going to be those. It's going to be the big ones that are like $850, $750. Really like $850 plus that have the duals. Single one, you could probably get with the 750s, 650s, 550s. Anything less than that, you're probably not going to have what you need. OEM, you're definitely not going to have what you need. Because OEM doesn't have anything. This, you don't need. Because now, we're done. We've built a computer here. This is how we build one. Everything is all where it needs to be, I'm pretty sure. Let's go ahead and close this sucker up and see if it turns on or if I get a uh-oh, someone messed up error. It happens. So don't be discouraged if it says uh-oh, some of this stuff as in boop, 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 meaning you didn't hook in something right. Beeps generally aren't good. Other than the beep, and you hear a hard drive going. Those are the only beeps you really want to hear. Ones that say, I'm running now. Hey, I just put you back in there. Stay. Yeah. Let's ignore you. Oh, this is going to be a nice tight fit this time. I got you on. Ha ha. Now I have 3 screws because I think we'll lose one. As long as you have at least one, you should be good. Whoa. Okay. It's got a lot of USB ports on it, which I'm very happy with because I have a lot of USB stuff to hook into it. The more things that you get today require more and more and more USB ports. 9 times out of 10, you never have enough. So it's good to come across ones where you actually do have enough and be able to work with that. One of the things that you need to make sure you do is if you're replacing a motherboard, take the other motherboard, please, and put it into the bag that the old one, the new motherboard. This is an anti-static bag, and your motherboard may fry, may break, whatever. It's good to have a backup. You know how to put it together now. But you do want to keep this one just for backups, or in the case of my son swipes it, so he can keep his computer a little more advanced or not, I don't know. But you do want to keep the old one, and to do that, it needs to be anti-static. Static electricity is the death, just like water, of any motherboard. So, play smarter, not harder, and make sure you close it up. This is roughly the same size as the other one. Should be able to fit it, will be able to fit it into the box. That opens a little bit. Like this one's going in. Close it down. And there I have an older motherboard. Just in case it's needed. This is also a Z97X gaming motherboard that I put in here by MSI, not Gigabyte. So it's not completely mine. It's not really what's in there. So, now where was I? In this case side. And saying, let's stick it on. Backwards. There we go. Line goes up. Yes. Push it forward. Push it. There we go. And we should have one more screw in here. Like I said, the last one of the screws, so I'm down to one. Now, if you want to be fancy, you can Look at your pretty front, which is really just dirty as hell. My goodness. I have got just so much this gunk from this. Took off that, well, when I took off the old one, it had too much, really seriously, you don't want too much heatsink on things. So, let's write this down. This is rubbing alcohol. Regular rubbing alcohol. It doesn't hurt anything. It's actually okay for computer use, just not when it's on. Any liquid is not good for your computer when it's on. When it's off, it's not the end of the world, but when it's on, you do not want to have anything on there. I got all kinds of stuff on here. I don't even know what half of this shit is, just stuff that's floating around. Dust bunnies too. And you don't, when you put your computer in front of a window, it's going to get worse than this. This was just under the desk. But, be that as it may, it was, well, not under a desk, it was next to one. And, you know, you're drinking something, throw it in the trash, you're eating something, throw it in the trash. This was sitting right next to the trash can. Thankfully, now it will not be, so I'm hopeful that it will not be as dirty as what we see here in the future. Because just got the computer room. And there we go. Actually, we're going to make it prettier. We can take these cool little stickers that these all come with because they want you to say, hey, I've got a G1 gaming board by Gigabyte on your computer. Not that anyone, not even nerds, cares. Because if you go and you tell a nerd, I got a G1 motherboard, they'll be like, so what? And he'll always have one better. Because everybody's is always better than yours. That's how it works in nerddom. Well, I don't like that one because it doesn't have the quadruple flux capacitor thingy. It can do time travel like mine can. It'll be like, well, if your computer can do time travel, why didn't you go back to the past and make yourself not a dork? So, there we go. Now, all that's left on this guy right here is a very boring part, but very easy part. I got the Windows 10. I got the Windows 10 Home Edition right here. It's on USB. This makes things much, much simpler for you, except for opening it. That's much, much harder in general speaking. Okay, there we go. And it comes on a little USB card, and all I have to do is plug this little USB card into the drive and say boot from USB on the BIOS, and it should, isn't that fancy? And it should, oh, look at that there. Ooh, it's got a little window. Look, there's a window. Oh, you open it up and see another window. Okay, Microsoft. Ready, set, do? Usually it's ready, set, go. So when I was a kid, anyhow, here is the wonderful little dongle for the Windows. Excellent, fantastic. Put that in, you're ready to go. So, that is all that's required for that. This is the home full version. I just put that in here and I install it. If you've done everything correct and we power it on, you shouldn't hear anything weird. So let's go over there real quick. It's kind of a mess of cables because, as I said, I have about 100,000 different USBs, but the big part here is to sit on all of the Scuzzy cords because that is just frigging awesome. Okay. The big part here that I want to see right off the bat, before I plug in this tangled mess of cords, is does it explode on me? Two. Stepping back. Oh boy. What happens when I just plug it in and hit the power? I feel air here, which is generally a good sign. I don't hear anything going kaboom. Also generally good. Wow, that's a lot of air coming out there. That's nice. That's rare. I don't hear anything exploding. I'd say we're good. Okay, I didn't hear any beep, 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 beep. What the heck? Did I just turn it off? Okay, now there we go. Alright, I'd say we're good. So, all I have to do is install the software. That shouldn't be anything I'd have to run you through. You just plug in the USB dongle and follow the command prompts on your screen. That is how we make a computer. That's how you assemble one. It's not very difficult. It's a little time consuming, but the hardest part I think about making and reassembling a new computer or making a new computer is installing the hordes of software you probably want to put back on it. And that is the most time consuming, the most aggravating part of any PC repair job. So, there you go. It was somewhat creative, at least I hope you enjoyed the odd commentary. But let's go ahead and sign out for now. Stay creative. Well, that's that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why don't you consider hitting the subscribe button? It would help out a lot. It tells me that you like the videos that I'm doing right now. We also have 2 more videos here for you to watch. We have lots more coming. Lots and lots. There are so many things floating around in my head that we have an adventure bonanza coming up for you. So if you did like it, make sure you click one of those videos. Make sure you click like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Until then, stay creative.